All right, welcome into another teaching, y'all. Have you ever thought about your habits, what you do on a day-to-day basis? What draws you in without uh conscious or even with conscious consent? What around you really do you do without needing the attention to a spare energy? Do you have habits of making bad habits, or do you have habits of making good habits? These are things you need to be aware of, especially on your healing journey, because your habits show you what leads you down certain things. Maybe you're just really bad with spending, and every time you're supposed to spend money, you habitually or on reflex really end up spending it. Oh, I already, I'm not going to spend my money. And then, oh yeah, I forgot I need this, and that. Or I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I used to do this all the time. And then you end up doing that. Or you end up meeting someone new, and then you immediately start thinking that they're doing something to you. Because in your past, you had to form a habit of allowing yourself to be in the energy and create those choices. Super important to see what you're doing with yourself, with your habits, because if you don't, your habits will overrule you. You can make habits out of making, you can have a habit of making bad habits, and you can have a habit of making good habits. You can have a habit of turning your bad habits into good habits, and you can have a habit of making your good habits turn into bad habits. And that's something that you need to keep an eye on with yourself. Are you making better choices, or are you making choices for the worse? Do you pay attention to repeated outcomes that you indulge yourself in? Or are you a slave, and have your mind become a slave to doing incorrect choices that lead you down back to bad habits? In the past, did you have any habits, such as drugs, drinking, alcohol, anything of that nature, sex, masturbation, that keeps calling your name in the present tense? And if so, do you remember and recall the place that it puts you in? Are you a fiend for instant gratification and then dealing with turmoil later? Or are you a fiend for not allowing that cycle to occur? A little bit of weird wording there at the end, but regardless, your habits tell a lot about who you are as a person. It tells a lot about who you are subconsciously and consciously, but it's something that you might not even be aware of because you don't really pay attention, or you might not pay attention to what you actually do. A lot of people habitually end up watching videos all day and wasting their time instead of doing things that they need to do. Other people habitually waste time so they don't have to clean, or they allow their habits, such as eating or entertainment, to overtake their serious life or their serious choices that they need to make in life. Instead of falling victim to those things, have you thought about making it a habit to fight those impulses? That's something that you can do. Now, of course, we all have habits, and they will either be good or bad habits, and you need to make sure that yourself are not doing things on repeat that are leading you to a bad outcome. There's not a need for a repeated bad outcome to happen. So that's something that you're needing to focus on really. Um you don't need to do anything, but if you're actually wanting to heal, grow, evolve, become true to who you are, then I would watch for those things. Some habits are based off of your DNA. Some habits are based off of how you were raised and groomed and cultured. Some habits are gained by other people. Some habits you gain by yourself. Some habits you put yourself in due to other people doing them. And other habits you just fall victim to by your own because of curiosity. And all this being said, when you do fall down for a habit, it's important to not ignore what the outcome is. For instance, if you drink a lot, and you like whatever you drink, you already know that, first of all, you drink until you get to a certain state, and then at that certain state, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to drink again. This is awful, blah, blah, blah. You stop, you go back again, and you're in a habitual cycle. Why don't you choose to not do that? Because you know what's going to happen. What within that cycle gets you to want to do that again? And that's where your habit strikes. You could even have a habit of procrastination to make it simpler. And more general for people, the habit of procrastinating, waiting 4 days to do something so that you just don't have to do it again. That's a big one that a lot of people end up suffering from because they themselves don't actually take the time or care to see that, oh, I should do this, I need to do this, and it becomes a habit where it pushes in the back of your mind and then becomes forefront later. And you need to check your instincts when it comes to that. The greatest way to check what your habits are is whenever you are in a event that causes your blood pressure to rise or your adrenaline to run through your system, check and see what you need to do. Or when that persuading thought comes through your mind, pay attention to what it wants you to do and what the outcome of that is. You might even be annoyed in the middle of getting prepared for said habit, and that's a sign that you really don't want to do it, but you are being possessed by some form of force to do it regardless. So these are things that people need to pay attention to whenever they are healing. And when you break these habits, even within yourself, it might seem as if you are depraving either yourself or other people from being around you or getting you to interact with certain habits, but that is not the case at all. Do not allow yourself to feel in that sense. You're not being mean to yourself by breaking a bad habit, and you're definitely not being mean to anyone else on the external for breaking a bad habit that they forced you in. This is why it's important to make sure you have control over your mind and know who you are, because then you will know if a habit is based off of you or a habit is based off of something that someone else has put on you. Now, we talked a bit about this in the healing class, and let me pull up the that PDF of Dr. Malachi Z. York for you all, because this is a very, very, very good scroll to read. It is the Egyptian way to overcome bad habits, and there are 9 maxims, and I'm going to read you the 9 maxims. The first maxim is you must make your nervous system your ally instead of your enemy. Stay in control. The second maxim is an acquisition of a new habit, as in leaving of an old one. You must take care to launch yourself with a strong and dedicated mind and decide an initiative as soon as possible. Remember that you have been living and taught another way of life, a different religion, different people, different gods, different concepts on things, and you now must form new habits. The person who's in the habit of doing the right thing from childhood only has good motives. So it's important for you that you continuously and audaciously focus on the habits that reinforce good motives. Surround yourself with every age you can, and don't play with fire. Don't be around bad people or people that are trying to get you to do things that are going against your will. Or at least in another sense, don't be around the 6 ether forces that are trying to get you to rebel against your 9 ether forces, for those that understand it or overstand it in that term. Your third maxim: never allow an exception to occur until the end of a new habit is securely rooted in your life. So don't go like, oh, I can do this now. No. You can't do that until your new habit is securely rooted. Because you don't want to give in into the new habit, which you really want takes over your old habit. Because then it just undoes everything that you did beforehand. The fourth maxim is seize the very first opportunity to act on every resolution you make about your newfound way of life. Do not allow yourself to slip back into the old habit of being lax with yourself. That will allow yourself to trick and fool yourself and take away and reduce all the progress, that you have done. Your fifth maxim is keep the faculty of effort alive in you by a little gracious exercise every day. Be thankful for the truth about you. Be thankful for the truth that you are seeing. For you have tried everything from everyone but your own kind, whether that is ancestral or yourself. You need to have right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding to know these things. If you have a native tongue, sticking with your native tongue. If you have ancestry that has strong roots, stick within that. And that will allow you to break bad habits that have been placed on you by modern day culturalism, which is very important to do because there are so many people who are cursed with modern day spirituality that they don't even understand what the fuck their spiritual being is. They just go, I'm spiritual. How? Where is your practice? Oh, I do a little bit of everything. Do you now? Well, what's your root? And then you can't answer that because people are like, well, I think it's Egyptian. Everyone thinks it's Egyptian. They don't know who the fuck they are. This is why it's important to know yourself. And if it is Egyptian, start doing live the Egyptian way. Don't just be living the American way. What the fuck does that? What is good does that do? Live the Egyptian way. If that is something that you want to resonate with, you know, you can't just lie to yourself and expect that forward motion because your values are going to lie in that area. Your sixth maxim is never allow yourself to be derailed from the course of your resolution. Always be alert and aware of circumstances that seem to constantly take you off course. You must always focus and concentrate on all that you do, even to the smallest of tasks. That literally means if you're, no, I'm supposed to take out the trash. Oh, well, this and that pops up. No, take out the fucking trash and then worry about those other things. Because if you don't, you're going to repeat a cycle and you're going to take out your trash for a long time. And that's just how it's going to be. And you know it's how it's going to be because it's done that cycle over and over again. You must make sure that it is in state and solid in you so that you don't keep making those repeat offenses on your own self. The seventh maxim is listen to your body. It has all the answers. Stop looking outside of yourself for the answers to your problems. You are in control, so listen to the voice within of agreeable things and beware of complaints of the disagreeable mind. Physical pain in the body is a warning. Remember that. The body is a durable piece of machinery and can take quite a bit of abuse before any warning signs. Unfortunately, if you have strayed away from your way of life and your practices and ignore your basic rules of health with the sound mind and body, you can't accomplish anything. But when you have a sound mind and a sound body, you can accomplish anything ever, overcoming you embedded in bad habits. Relaxation and proper breathing is the first step to a sound mind, which will lead you to a sound body. In order to hear the answers within yourself, you must have silence. Proper diet and exercise will give you the physical strength to execute resolutions successfully. I don't know why people, whenever I say have silence, they're like, oh, I can't have silence because I hear this, that, and the other. No, you don't. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because those noises are man-made. They are illusionatory. You can block out those sounds. There is ways. You're talking to someone that literally had to block out like being in a room with 50 fucking people in it while being homeless to meditate. These things are possible. You just need to have a stronger mental. And if you don't have a strong mental, that's not an excuse for saying, well, I can't do it. You can. It's called exercising your mind and exercising the parts of your brain that would shut off those needs to focus on those noises. You just need to practice it and exercise it. If you can't do that, then you're lazy. You're not using your energy properly. You need to understand these things. It's not coming at anyone. It's simply how it is. If you are going to be too lazy to do the work that it would take to get this protection up, then don't complain about it because no one else can help you. What do you want us to do? Zap you with a fucking ray gun to make your brain powerful or something? Unfortunately, we can't do that, but they have things they can zap your brain with to cause other shit to happen. So that's up to you. We have the eighth maxim is remember that the road to true recovery from bad habits such as smoking, drug addiction, eating disorders, obsessions with guns, violence, and the likes can only be changed if one admits to the problem. You are in another mind. You are out of your own mind in another. No true progress can be made unless you have the problem and you admit to their bad habit. Once you make the commitment to change, then you are on the right path to success, to recovery, to yourself. You cannot be in denial and be like, no, this isn't my problem, but I want to fix it. It is your problem because you want to fix it. So deal with it being your problem first, and then we can talk about it moving on. Whenever people have an issue like, this isn't true, blah, 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 you're lying to yourself. Most of the time you are. You have to sit down and shut your mouth and shut your brain up and be silent and do your breathing exercises. Actually, I'm not even joking. And then look at it from an actual point of view. Practice strengthening your brain to see things differently. If you cannot do that, then you are dead in the head. You are brain dead. If your brain cannot create new activity, you're dead in the head. You're brain dead. You're mentally dead. To understand these things, I tell you these things, not, I only tell you these things just to really show y'all like what's going on, how to heal, how to move forward. I'm not here just to gab my lips. These are important steps to your own healing. These are important steps and powers and abilities that the brain has, that you have, that everyone has, but you need to be aware and do that working. I have books on this stuff. I've written books and scrolls on these things that you can have that will benefit you and move you forward in this path of learning these things. You can book readings with me so I can tell you what's going on within your mind or your psyche or your body so that you will know what's going on so you can fix these things. I have services such as the one-on-one and mentorship to talk to me personally and have personal sessions to get that shit figured out. There is a way, but you have to be willing to take that first step. And a lot of people aren't willing to take that first step because they're comfortable lying to themselves or being in a dead state. You're not going to be revived. You're already living your second death. When you die at the end, it's not going to be like a revival. It's just going to be a repeat of what you're existing now, just worse. The ninth maxim is learn to love yourself and who you are and your kind. This is a very essential resolution to fulfill for loving yourself. If you are Afro American or you're melanated or however you want to say it, love the people around you. Love your brothers and sisters. Yeah, they might be going around doing dumb shit. Even if you're white, it doesn't matter what the fuck race you are. Just love them. Yeah, they're doing dumb shit, but everyone's doing dumb shit. Don't allow what they're doing to make you look bad. Or don't allow them doing whatever they do and they laugh, whatever actions they taken. Don't allow that to put you in a state of, oh, well, that means I have to do that too. No, you don't. You can be who you're supposed to be without being all that other bullshit. But you have to understand and love them even though they're doing those things. So like, well, I can't do that. Well, then you can't heal. Then you're never going to heal. Then you're lying to yourself and everyone that you tell that you say that's healed. Because if you don't have love and actual love to allowing people to be who they are, then you're not healed. You're lying to yourself. But make the resolution to love your kind as much as you do yourself, because we are all in the all. Respect yourself and your kind. You don't have to seek love, it should come naturally.
You don't have to. You don't have to long to hear. All shall come naturally. What those people who were born, and if people are born without sight, and without the ability to hear, are they ever deprived of seeing and hearing at all? No, they can receive hearing. They can receive sight. There are ways for them to. They don't have. First of all, these are senses, and your senses always work differently. It's different. You must think of it. You can hear out someone that can't speak, and you can help someone who can't see visually understand things. But it's all about having that love. And if you need to read this scroll, I highly recommend it. It is called A Guidance from the Masters, the Egyptian Way to Overcoming Bad Habits from the Ancient Egyptian Order. These are tips and tools that one really needs to be focused on and have on this healing journey so they aren't stuck in old habitual ways that will only cause them fire and destruction in their life. But this has been the video on habits. I truly love each and every one of you. Peace in the Lamb. It is truly wonderful. Hadus Ashok Wadu.